Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls. This is Miss Brianne, and welcome back to Coding Fun with Miss Brianne. This is the brief series where I show you all the different library toys, robots, games, and computer software involving coding that we here have to offer at the Westhampton Free Library, as well as in my own personal collection. Now, if you remember the previous Coding Fun video and some of the previous Coding Craze video, I had recently introduced a new thing that I acquired in my personal collection, and those are the Sphero littleBits. And they're basically electronic circuit pieces that you can easily snap together to create all sorts of cool inventions. Now, as I referred in my previous videos, littleBits was founded by Ayah Bdeir in September of 2011 and was acquired by Sphero in August of 2019. Now, check out Wikipedia for more information regarding this, and as well as my previous videos. Now, the last Coding Craze video, I just gave you a brief introduction of the littleBits. And I showed you a little bit of the littleBits Fuse app. And today I'm going to show you a little bit more on how you create circuits in Fuse. Now, Fuse is an app that's a web-based app that's created by Sphero, where you can virtually prototype inventions that you want to create. And you can even simulate them if you want. Now, since I do this a lot, I already have it on here. So we are just going to click on that. There we go. So it's loading. And for the actual address, it's fuse.littlebits.com. And it gives you all, you can create something brand new, like here. We're not going to do that because we still have an empty workspace. But if you click Getting Started, it gives you all of these tips for how to get started by creating an account. And this is mainly geared towards educators. But you don't need to create an account if you're doing something individually. But creating the account is basically if you're an educator and you want to create this for your classroom. But in any event, so this is basically the workspace where you'll virtually assemble your pieces. Now, as I mentioned before, anything that's blue is power. And when I click on that, two things come up. A USB power. That means it's a power bit that you need to connect to an electrical source via a USB adapter. And this one is power bit plus cable. This is probably something with a regular cable. And they don't have it here, but they have power bits where you can use to connect the batteries. Well, actually, you can use this to connect the battery, because it comes with its own cable. So I'm going to pull out the power bit plus cable. Actually, I won't do that now. Hold on. But those are the power. Now, anything that's pink is inputs. And what that means is, with the pink bits, with inputs, you got to do something to it in order to make your invention work. So if you click on this, you get a bunch of these pink littleBits. We have temperature sensor, which is, it works according to how warm or how cold it is. A light sensor causes something to work depending on how much light there is. Pulse else is a little bit hard to explain. That would be something I had to do further research on. Sound trigger. The invention works if it's activated by how much sound there is. Oops, don't want that. There's a button, which is pretty self-explanatory. Your invention works when you push the button. An oscillator, which is also a little hard to explain. A slide dimmer, which means you can adjust how loud a sound is on your invention or how bright a light is on your invention. A regular dimmer, which is basically the same as a slide dimmer, but it uses a knob. Proximity sensor. Oops, hold on, sorry. Let me get rid of this. Proximity sensor is, it works if somebody's near it or far, and then pressure sensor, which is activated how much pressure it is. Then we have outputs, which is bits that do something. For example, a motor runs. The fan spins around with its blades. An RGB LED. It flashes either red, yellow, or green light. Long LED, which is a small light on a long wire. A number panel, which means it displays numbers. An LED matrix square. Now this one's unique in that it displays certain types of colors, but you gotta program it, and we'll talk about that in a future video. A buzzer, it makes a sound, almost like an alarm. A bar graph, which displays different types of lights. A servo, which is a little hard to explain. A speaker, which generates sound. And if last but not least, we have the wire, the orange bits, which are the wires, which connects the inputs to the outputs or the power to the output. So we have a regular wire, an inverter, a split, which can separate your input from two different outputs, a branch, a code bit, which is a very important one because you need to connect certain outputs to it because you need to code with it. A fork. Oops, hold on, sorry guys. A fork? Yeah, and a fork. So now that you know what some of these are, let's see if we can create a simple circuit which makes a light go on. So, and it's very simple. All you really need is a power bit. I'm going to do the one with the cable. And let's do the long LED light. Where is it? Now we're going to click that on. And you just heard it click. And let me move the light. Hold on. You know, let's try that again. Sometimes it doesn't always work. So, long LED. Hold on. Alright, let's try this. Let me try this again. Alright, let's go to power. And let's do a power bit to a cable. Let's do the power bit. And then let's do the long LED. Alright, let's try one more time, and if it doesn't work, we'll try something else. You know what, let's try something else that doesn't have as long a wire. Let's try the fan. There we go. So we got a power cable and a fan. Now if you see, there's something called simulate. Now this is what you can test to see if your adventure will work. Let's see what happens when I click on it. And there you go. It looks like it works, right? Cool, huh? Alright, let's stop the simulation. And let's clear everything. So, we have a power bit. And we have our output. So let's move this a little bit. Now, let's connect the wire to it. So we're going to connect this wire. Hold on. So we got that wire. And that wire. Now let's see what happens when we click the simulator. And again, it works. Basically the same thing, we just connected it with a wire. Alright, now we're going to stop this simulation. And let's try an input. Let's try a sound trigger. Alright, and let's see what happens if we try and simulate it. Alright, so it looks like it's not working yet because we gotta turn on the sound. Let's see what happens when we do that. Oh, there we go. As you can see, it works. So let's turn that off, and let's turn off the simulation. And let's get rid of the fan. Let's see what happens if we put something in, such as a bar graph. Alright, let's see if that works. And again. So it looks like this, it goes on a little bit without sound, but if I turn on the sound trigger, it goes on all the way. Isn't that neat? However, this doesn't always work. So, let's get rid of the bar graph. Let me turn off the simulation first, then get rid of the bar graph. Alright, and let's try the LED matrix. You know what, let's clear all this. let's add the LED matrix. Sorry guys, it's hard to hold the camera and work the touchpad at the same time. There we go. Let's connect it with wires. There we go. Let's get the button trigger or the sound trigger. And then finally, let's connect our power bit. Alright, so let's see what happens when I turn on the simulation. Now it looks like it says simulation unsupported, even when I turn on the sound trigger. Now just because it says unsupported doesn't mean it's not going to work. It just needs additional steps for it to work that as of right now the Fuse app doesn't have. What you would have to do in this case, you probably need something special called a code bit to get it to work. So, let's turn off the simulation. Let's get rid of the wires. And let's get the code bit. So, there's one. There's the other. Let's see if that works. Again, still unsupported because you would have to program your code bit, and you can't really do that with the Fuse app. But you could pretty much run almost every type of circuit with this Fuse app virtually before you test with the real thing. And you can always change and adapt if you need to, so you know exactly what to build when you start working with the littleBits. But anyway, this is the Fuse app, and remember, this Fuse app was created by Sphero. And I hope you enjoyed this little demonstration. And please look for my other coding videos, which I show you many different types of these toys and robots. But in any event, this is Miss Brianne saying take good care of yourselves. Have a great day, and I'll see you soon.